As far as Eurovision's history goes, the 1980s was probably the least significant decade. A grand total of 3 countries debuted, one of which never returned again, and throughout the period there were no major changes to the format. In 1980, the contest was a one-night show where each jury awarded 12 points to their favourite song, and by 1989, the contest was still a one-night show where each jury awarded 12 points to their favourite song. That's not to say nothing of note happened during these years. Many of the winning songs went on to be top-selling hits: Nicole, Box Fizz, Johnny Logan, and of course it introduced the non-francophone world to the one and only Celine Dion. But then there's those Eurovision entries, the ones that make you feel dread, regret, or have you questioning why you were ever placed on this planet in the first place. To be clear, an entry's place on this list does not reflect my personal like or dislike of the song. There are quite a few songs in this video that I love, others not so much.
My feelings are irrelevant.
Number 10. Daniel. That's the Menken said. Iceland was one of the small number of countries that debuted in Eurovision in the 80s, and they certainly got off to a rocky start. They first joined in 1986 and finished 16th 3 times in a row, but their ultimate rock bottom was their 4th attempt in 1989. Their performer that year was Daniel Haroldson. With a silk shirt and pants pulled up to his tits, he looked more like a teenage boy whose mom forced him to sing at church. Iceland failed to resonate with the international juries and finished in last place with 0 points. And it won't be the last entry on this list to achieve that feat. Despite the poor result, Daniel still managed a respectable music career in his home country, notably as the lead singer of electronic band Gus Gus. Number 9. Svara Sjælsberg and Marty Samiid. It's very ironic looking at British documentaries from the 90s and early 2000s and watching them point and laugh at Norway's Eurovision entries, when all they do nowadays is rag on themselves. Norway first debuted at Eurovision in 1960 with Voi Voi by Nora Brokstedt. This cute and rather patronising entry saw Nora singing about the Sami people, portraying them as mysterious, whimsical people who love to sing. Norway was very eager to celebrate the Sami culture just 1 year after lifting the long-standing ban on Sami languages in schools, but from the perspective of a non-Sami Norwegian, of course. In 2019, Norway sent Spirit in the Sky, which finished in 6th place and even won the televote. The entry showcased how far the Sami people had come in Norwegian society, finding their place as the goofy third wheel for the blonde-haired, blue-eyed leads. But perhaps the most infamous example of Sami representation at Eurovision came in 1980. Performed by Svara Sjælsberg, this song protested against the building of a hydroelectric power plant in Finnmark in northern Norway. Typical white saviour, claiming to fight on behalf of indigenous people while giving them no voice of their own. And in the end, the song concludes that joik, a traditional Sami style of singing, will be strong enough to defeat the Norwegian government. The masses might sympathise with your cause at first, but at the end of the day, the lengths that you have to go to just become too inconvenient to their daily lives. That's moderates for you. They finished in 16th place with 15 points, and the power station was opened in 1987. Number 8. Cetin Alp and the Shortwave, Opera. So, one interesting thing about Eurovision is that the EBU only owns the copyright starting in 2004. Every edition before that is owned by the broadcaster that hosted it, but they generally aren't bothered about enforcing those rights, and this gives other parties free rein to copyright claim. A few Eurovision entries have temporarily disappeared from the internet. For a couple of years, it was impossible to find Bosnia in 1999, and Belgium 1973 and Germany 1994 have also been missing in action. But this phenomenon most commonly occurs with Turkish Eurovision songs. I can remember times when their 1984 and 1992 entries were unavailable on YouTube, but at the moment it looks like 1983 is on hiatus. The only available upload of the Eurovision performance is this low-quality recording posted by Davor Pejic. Following the introduction of the 12-point voting system in 1975, 1983 was the first year that two countries ended up with 0 points: Spain and Turkey. Spain's entry, Who's Sailing My Boat, was also a candidate for this list, but didn't quite make the cut. The song is a tribute to the theatre and singing style of opera, by dropping the names of famous singers and, of course, repeating the word opera over and over in rapid succession. But I'll admit, I admire the dedication of the backing singers. Number 7, Seyyal and group Lokomotiv, Şarkım Sevki Ustane. Turkey has had 2 0-pointers during their Eurovision career, and they happen to be back-to-back on this list. Not that they fared particularly well in the intervening years, finishing 12th in 1984, 14th in 1985, but finally achieving their first top 10 finish in 1986. Their 1987 entry cleaned up at the Turkish national selection, receiving a vote from 14 out of the 16 judges. The runner-up received the 2 remaining votes, while the other 7 entries ended up with 0. Soon you will join us. A moderately paced pop song, the studio version stayed well within Eurovision's 3-minute time limit, clocking in at 2 minutes and 52 seconds. But for whatever reason, the live performance sent the tempo into overdrive, shaving 10 seconds off the duration. The performers tried to remain unfazed, and boy did they commit to that dance routine. Number 6, Ricky Sorsa, Reggae OK. Now we're getting into the Eurovision legends. Reggae is a music genre with an illustrious history. First created in Jamaica in the 1960s, it soon became a worldwide phenomenon. And in 1981, a bunch of white guys in Finland decided that the best way to celebrate this musical style would be with an unforgettable Eurovision Song Contest performance. Yeah, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Ricky was 28 years old when he took to the international stage in Dublin. Everything about this performance raises so many questions. How did any of these outfits get approved? Why does Ricky spend the whole song shaking his bum while hunched over like an old man? Why does the song keep feeling the need to say the name of the genre? Why does a reggae song have an accordion solo? And why does one of the guitarists start having a rock star moment in the middle of the song? Such questions may never be answered, but nonetheless, Reggae OK finished in 16th place with 27 points, and I can't not mention this.
And a month later, reggae legend Bob Marley passed away. Now, I'm not saying they're connected, but if he saw this, it may have pushed him over the edge.
Number 5, Pas de deux, Rendez-vous. Belgium has had some interesting Eurovision entries over the years. There was that period in the late 2000s where they went into meltdown after Kate Ryan failed to make the final. And of course, you've got the cult classic Eurovision by Telex, which is far too blessed to be on this list. But their 1983 entry, Rendez-vous, is fascinating in how it seems simple on the surface, while also being a complete mindfuck. The performance begins with a 30-second intro, where our 2 female leads come stepping in barefoot with some coordinated choreography. The lyrics feature only 2 unique lines, repeated within short intervals. The titular, Rendez-vous, followed by a Dutch language idiom that literally translates to "but the glass is full and my head is shut up," and roughly means "but that's it and I suddenly shut up." The choreography never ends, and some flute playing is even thrown in for good measure. The keyboard player spends the whole song waving around a stick while dancing as if he's drunk at a wedding, the percussionist looks like he wants to die, and the other musician wanders about as if he doesn't know that the entire continent is watching him. They came 18th in a field of 20 with 13 points. Number 4, Goyo, Nuku pommiin. 1982 was the 3rd time that Finland finished with 0 points in Eurovision Song Contest, and the only time under the 12-point voting system. The singer sounds like he's being held at gunpoint, or maybe under a bomb threat. This song tackled the hypothetical scenario of Europe turning to nuclear war. Some fears never become relevant, and advises its audience that the best thing to do is just sleep through the carnage. The chorus is... Pommiin, pommiin, Nuku pommiin, Nuku pommiin. But to an English-speaking ear, it sounds like he's singing bombing, bombing, nuke bomb, nuke bomb, nuke bombing. And pommiin means bomb, so it's sort of a play on words. Finnish is a complicated language, okay? I've seen people from Finland blame their historical poor results on the rest of Europe just not understanding their language or their taste in music. Estonia got a top 5 finish on their third attempt, but nice try. Number 3, Aphrodite Frida, Clown. Eurosong.net, a Eurovision fan site that shut down in 2008, held a poll where they asked the visitors to vote for the worst Eurovision songs of each decade. And Greece's 1988 entry was voted number 1 for the 1980s. Aphrodite sings about how she is a clown and what she does in this occupation. And the chorus is the absolute pinnacle of songwriting. Glow, glow, even glow, 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 even glow. It finished in 17th place with 10 points. It got 7 from France and was also the first ever Greek Eurovision entry to receive points from Turkey. Yes, this one. Number 2, Marty Brem, Wenn du da bist. After finishing with less than 20 points 3 times in a row, Austria was faced with the responsibility of kicking off a whole new decade of Eurovision, performing first in the 1980 contest with the band Blue Danube, who finished in a decent 8th place. This kicked off Austria's 13-year habit of bringing male artists back to the contest over and over, and then discarding them when they flop. Blue Danube broke up shortly after their Eurovision performance, and one of the members, Marty Brem, came back as a solo artist the following year. And he brought along 4 female companions who, well, they do stuff. They prance about the stage, they wear headphones, and honestly, I can't do this performance justice with my own words. It should be analysed at a university level. A few months ago, I posted a cover of the song with literal lyrics, link in the description. It came 17th with 20 points, and none of the backup performers have ever been identified by name. Probably for the best to keep it that way. Number 1, Sophie and Magali, Papa Penguin. Oh boy, is there a lot to talk about with this one. 17-year-old identical twins from France, Sophie and Magali were Luxembourg's representatives in Eurovision Song Contest 1980. And there's a good reason why identical twins are often the subject of horror movies. These girls came on in shiny circus outfits, with synchronized actions to match the lyrics, and voices that wouldn't sound out of place in Junior Eurovision. And of course, they were accompanied on stage by this monstrosity. That's Jean-Paul Calcha, the writer of France's winning 1977 entry, L'Oiseau et l'Enfant, and their 1976 runner-up, Un, deux, trois, in a sparkly black and white penguin suit. It's fair to say this was not the highlight of his career. Jean-Paul's deep voice offers quite an eerie contrast to Sophie and Magali's childlike singing, and there doesn't seem to be much direction to his presence. One minute he's pretending to slip on the steps, the next he's in the corner badly attempting some aerobics, and by the climax he's leaping about in the air. The performance alone cements this as one of the most cursed Eurovision entries of all time, but sadly, as many of you already know, Sophie and Magali's story does not end there. The song got a mid-table finish of 9th in the contest, but went on to be a huge hit, selling over 1 million copies in France. But the twins got paid peanuts for the track, and did not receive any royalties. Their follow-up singles flopped, and their music career soon came to an end. Later on in the decade, Magali contracted HIV and died of AIDS in 1996, at the age of 33. Sophie never truly got over her sister's death, and according to a blog on ESC Today, she rarely left her apartment and spent all day watching TV. She died in 2019 at the age of 56. The Penguin Man went on to co-write Germany's winning entry in 1982 and remains alive today at the age of 78. The song Papa Penguin has maintained status as a popular children's song in France, and a dance cover by Pigloo topped the French charts in 2006. Don't stop dancing, little buddy. On screen, you can see a few honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut. I don't have a one-size-fits-all policy on how to acknowledge Israel on this channel. They have zero consistency, so why should I? But this time round, I decided to leave them out because I felt that it would have been too jarring. But for the record, Lazy Bums would have been number 5. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Signing out.